Alright, so box.
We grabbed a grass vest shield for its stamina regeneration increase. I slowly smashed this crystal lizard, but it didn't drop any large titanite or titanite chunks, which was pretty unfortunate. We make it to our bearded butte, and we're able to buy enough titanite to upgrade the tower kite shield to +4. And probably an unsurprising turn of events, the damage is still pretty trash. Granted, these enemies have better defenses than the early hollows, but still. I make this knight Vera hike.
Damn, I go to the game.
Okay, I think I'm ready to get moving. Alright, let me open the truck. We'll take out a few boxes
to see what our damage is like, and yes, still low. But the bigger issue is the attack misses.
Alright, be careful, one of those has something that can break. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gliding against the ground.
And then unlock the shortcut ladder to hit the bridge, go trigger the red kite bridge, and then use the classic easy salt bomb method with him burning the guys on the bridge. After a few runs, I get myself up to 20 vitality.
Hello? What do you mean? What is VR?
You might think this is an odd choice, but I need some things from the depth.
Quiet!
When they chase you up to this ledge. It takes a few hits to kill them, but once they're dead, the fight becomes a lot easier.
Both of you, come here!
And then do a sort of plunging attack onto him, but honestly this feels a bit cheesy, and I know you guys want to see me suffer it out flashing the works great. The only hairy moment was when I got a little greedy and was punished, but other than that, my cat pragmatic approach worked well, and he soon died.
This is all the stuff to make the dinner.
And we grabbed a large Andre,
There's a small delay.
Let me figure out where these go in the kitchen.
At the depths bonfire, I restore my humanity, and then we pop
Put
some
the
more
kitchen items away. Okay.
improving our item discovery. The reason we need this
Okay, this cabinet is really high up. Let me try not to break these.
And lo and behold, he does indeed drop it. The spike shield. If he didn't drop it here, we wouldn't have a chance to get a bottle on this. It has better damage, scaling, and bleed as well.
Crazy how he does nice plates. Saying no, she's dead
and then upgrade it to +4. Good thing we bought the weaponsmith box earlier. As we're here, we might as well take out the baby price and quickly beat down the jet price. Even hitting the head doesn't do that much damage, but at least it's
Yeah, probably because they're fake plants, Dad. Sorry, Dad, but I gotta tell you, those are fake plants. And back to gliding.
Regardless, though, we stuck him in the mouth and rear enough times to give him a gate worm, and we shut his mouth shortly after. Let's get some more points and depth to boost our damage. The shield is going to carry us for a bit. I now return to Henry to give him the large Andre, even though I have no large titanite currently. I upgrade the spike shield to +5 while I'm here, and prepare to try the belligerent once again. Okay, now that's some decent damage. Plus, 2 hits in rapid succession get the stagger. With this upgrade, I can easily get the first one down before the second one joins. I don't think I've got a bleed here, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Smack the second in his underbelly a few times and down he goes. The first sting-a-ling is ring. I really want to see some bleed though, but thankfully there is a boss who is perfect for this. After having a quick existential crisis, we find ourselves back in the asylum to take on Demon Astrea. The damage per hit is pretty dire, especially given the Stray's large health. He is super weak to bleed, which gets blocked after 2 to 3 hits, taking off a nice chunk of his HP. After 2 minutes of strafing around him and poking him with our shield, it goes down. We get a titanite slab from him.
Anyway.
While we're here.
Okay, and anyways, looks
I also can't get more help. I think I heard him doing something downstairs.
find Dad around the house. Man, that boy could be anywhere. That man could be anywhere. There he is.
Look at all these Polaroid photos.
And you guess why we're here yet? Well, there's another shield down here we can get. But most people don't tend to get this in shield anymore because honestly it's a bit of a pain. Brought by the Buccaneer skeleton, who only have a 2% chance.
Oh, okay. Let me just wrap up here and I'll head out there with you.
I killed so many of them, I probably should be called a serial killer.
Hello.
Rewarded, and we get the bone wheel.
Welcome.
I've never used this before. Honestly, I'm kind of excited. Before we upgrade that though, let's check out Pinwheel while we're here. While we do this, let me tell you, Pinwheel actually took a necromancy off and had to go to his school bomb. You see, he had no body to go with. Yeah, like Lily.
All right, we're all done.
Break the bone wheel.
Take some time to unpack these boxes. At least they're finally inside. And time to start meal. Any plans to cook dinner? I knew I wasn't going to get hungry. I'll stop dinner later. Go ahead. Do what you want
It's
for
so fucking quiet. Like, oh my god. No, I feel like it's too loud. I missed.
Alright. I have some free time now. I am pretty tired from the box all day. I could go get
I
some
left
before
one
dinner.
box outside.
Or I can groceries. Oh, my guitar should also be down here somewhere.
Damage is pretty low. Honestly, the shield doesn't work. The great strategy usually is attacking her on the side, as there's some
Looks like there's a lock on the attic door.
apart from the AoE.
But where's the key? No key, no entry. It could be anywhere in this house.
It do take some damage as the spike shield doesn't have 100% block, but it's way better than the damage we take normally and allows us to stay close. With a few more hits, we're able to finish off Winona's spider. Killing her with a shield was fun for sure, but I've seen stranger things. Bell number 2 is wrong.
Looks like that is cooking. I am so hungry.
Sentimental favorite amongst soul fans.
Dad, where's the key? Why do I not have? Why do you not have a face? Why is Mother the only one that has a face? Oh, I just accidentally got rid of the video. Okay, I am very sad now. Anyways, should I do something or take a nap? Should I play the guitar, draw, or take a nap?
Just 3 of these is enough to get the golden staggering. Let's see if we can get it to come along.
I might
How happened there?
try to find
But good thing he hasn't lost the flight yet. Now,
the key.
Seem amazing from the bone wheel shield, but don't worry, we're going to get way more out of this, especially as we arrive in Anor Londo. I put some points into endurance here because I want to be able to light roll while wearing this pretty heavy shield, and maybe put some stronger armor on if needed. We take care of these Ian the painting gods up on the rafters, and comfortably handle the Silver Knight archer. Crazy how careless this guy is. This is the guy we want to see, our guy the giant blacksmith. We can upgrade our weapons down the lightning infusion path, and that's exactly what we want to do with the bone wheel shield. Okay, so now the real test of the shield against the dynamic duo of the Godskinner Pawnstein and Godskin Smoke. My initial ingenious plan was to kill Pawnstein first.
Anyways,
Lightning, but forgetting that Smoke gets more lightning resistance in phase 2.
I can't really find the key, so I'm just gonna draw.
Using the R2, it counts as blocking, meaning
Alright. Let me think of what I'm gonna sketch.
How about a rose? Since I already did butterfly.
Single rose, just for you. Dad once said to Mom.
Damn, what did ever happen to our fucking mom?
Alright. Let me think of what I'm gonna sketch.
It's gonna be loud as fuck.
Picture perfect? I've only been here once.
Alright, one more thing to draw.
Alright. Let me think of what I'm gonna sketch.
And that's family. It's gonna be loud as fuck when he talks, I swear to God.
It's just us, Dad.
Then why'd you draw the mom? That's what I'm confused. Why did you draw the mom if it's just you and your father? Should I? Take a nap. I'm gonna check father.
Despite some misses, though,
Father?
we managed to hit Doggo a few times and even block some of the
Father, what are you doing? Should I just take a nap after this?
to knock the health bar down
Oh,
further.
come on. Why are the windows dirty again?
It made sense to clear up any other business here in Darkroot Garden, so we turned
Father, you're
back to the
cutting
light,
nothing.
swiveled the rock, then saw off the Hydra heads and see off the doors.
Father, you're not cutting anything.
Right, and it will slaughter her later. I pumped endurance a bit more, and then we're off to New London to make these enemies ride the roller coaster. You get the key to the seal and drain New London, meaning two things. First, we can farm the dark race for Titanite chunks, and second, we can wrap it in a large foundry. With a bit of patience and farming, we can get the lightning bone wheel shield up.
Well, it's time to go take a nap.
Don the heavy poised stone armor and take on the four kings. It starts with a projectile which I can nicely block.
Should I just prank Father? God damn, I can't. I thought I was gonna be able to turn off the light. Now it's time to go back upstairs to take a nap.
Once we get rolling, the kings go down pretty quickly. We spread that health bar over and over. I'm legit impressed by this shield. A couple more rotations, and the kings are at victory.
Take a nap.
I realized at this point I never spoke to Frank earlier, so Carter's here to greet us. He takes us to the.
They know if I play the guitar, I'm probably gonna fall asleep on the couch. I think that's all I remember.
So let's go see Gwendolyn. Should I say?
Hello, sir.
Look at that damage. Rose wheel shield is OP. What a weapon. Upstairs is the entrance to the painted world, so we might as well sing this off as well. Extraction goes from undead to spun dead, and then Priscilla gets introduced to bone descent, and all the rock to the archer. It's no shame how annoying this wheel is to get. It's really fun weapon.
I swear to God, this is a jump scare.
Me jumping with this track in my back is amazing. I look like I'm about to take flight.
Aiden, dinner is
almost
ready.
Let's get this cycle seen off. I head to Duke's archives to get the broken pendant, and then my first encounter with Steve ends in the worst way possible. God damn it. Why does it keep pressing you after you've already died? Luckily, the archives weren't too much issue, so we can get to the bonfire, walk away, and get some purging stones before heading down to the caves, take on the seat for the real, and not the great day. He's been pretty weak to lightning, so the seat needs to stop, but I showed no mercy, and I don't think we will be seeing him again until the next cycle.
Oh, good. You're up, sleepy guy. Go ahead and sit at the table. I'll be over there right now.
This is, of course, in preparation for our expedition down to the giants, and of course, very good Nico. My initial plan was to use the shield to turn the skeleton growth, but it seems I've made a grave error, that being greatly overestimating the damage the shield would do. So I decided to switch tactics and just go in with the bone wheel shield, hoping that Nico would take care of the minions himself.
All right, dinner is ready. I'm going to bring it in, so be careful, because it's hot, okay?
Okay, Dad.
Oh, I see you're looking at Mom.
Oh, Dad, just give me the damn food.
Baby.
I just wish she was here, you know?
She would have loved all of
Yeah.
us. Everything is just perfect for the three of us.
I guess we'll just have to carry on
The
without her.
food.
Everything will be all right, Aiden. I'm here with you. Now I hope you're still hungry.
Yeah. What are we having?
On today's menu, we have chicken parmesan.
Wow, I did not even say a wow. That looks yummy. That looks delicious. Just nothing. That's disappointing. Chicken parmesan somehow sounds so delicious. Anyways.
What was that? Dad? What's happening?
I don't know, say anything. Call 911.
I need to call 911 right now. The phone should be by my bed.
This is 911. What is your emergency?
Hello? I live at 587 Rockwood Road. The house is going off. I can see your house.
Alright, stay calm. Who else is in the house with you?
Dad?
Hello? Hello? Who was that?
I decided to complete the full meal shield.
All units, we have a friendly.
Stability would help the bot with attack. And I was right. Turning around and not I think good strategy. I think it was real. You might as well call him an outrider. Two spins is also a
Dad?
stagger to stop
Dad,
it.
are you okay?
Which is extremely beneficial. It only takes a few more spins to win.
No, Dad. Please wake up, please. Dad. Dad, wake up.
Speaking of Thanos, given his high resistance to
Freeze! Don't move!
Officer, please help him. He's hurt.
I said freeze! Do not move!
Wait, please. This wasn't me, I swear.
Get on the ground now!
It wasn't me.
I said on the ground now!
Wait, officer, just listen.
Now!
Wait, stop. This wasn't.
rolling for a hit. Get close to him as he did the ring attack for the final blow. We use our shield as properly to save Garfield a steaming hot plate of defeat. Also, just met with an unfortunate accident. So, just Calamite left. Our giant archer friend helps kill Calamite's sword throat with a cross drop, and then the real fight begins. A lot of people might not know this, but Calamite can actually be bled. He just has a bleed resistance, so hide that unless you manage to constantly do damage with a really fast bleed weapon. Chances are you won't see a bleed prop. So of course I definitely didn't see one here. Our damage was the lowest of any of the DLC bosses, and often we missed because of the range of the shield and the sometimes awkward angles of his legs. That being said, I find there's a lot more opportunities to attack him than with Manus. At one point, I managed to crazy dodge of his charge despite being right between his legs. The end of this was feeling several kilometers away, and now it's within sight. Before heading to the final boss, we buy our starting weapon for the New Game Plus cycle, the Case Deuce, as well as one other thing that we need to do that might surprise you. Did you forget we never did the Taurus demon? Oh wow, we nearly one-shot him. He tried to tore us apart, but of course we tore him apart with one attack. So on to Gwyn, who I decided to voice act. You might instantly think shields only, so surely parry, right? Well, we can't riposte him anyway, so I felt like this was a better strategy, circling him with a spiked shield. He did get pretty angry at some points, and even here his damage and ability to break our guard is no joke. We can stagger him after a couple hits, which is nice, and I did get lucky with some weird jank. What the hell happened here? I also found by getting him on this slightly elevated area, several of his swings actually went right over my head, allowing me to send Winnie the Pooh back to his honey hole. As feels appropriate following that, I lather myself in the honey and set myself on fire to begin cycle number 2. Just to mention, if you're enjoying the video, why not consider subscribing? With more videos and fun times ahead, and many watching aren't subscribed at the moment, you'll get notified of any new content I drop if you're subscribed, and I promise I will continue to work hard to keep you entertained. I appreciate every single one of you watching. Just shampoo like you do. Try just the men before she ends spray reducing shampoo.
Elegant water softeners prevent hard water buildup by minimizing repair and skin.
Reaching your financial goals can feel impossible. Credit Karma gives you personalized guidance to improve your credit, savings, taxes, and more, so you can find your way to money. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
Introducing Walden Wayfinder, guiding you through your bachelor's degree with comprehensive, personalized career plans, including one-on-one coaching and real-world skills. Make your impact with a bachelor's from Walden University. Set a course for change.
Thank you so much. Back in the asylum, we removed literally everything we're wearing and equipped the +0 Case Deuce to start this run. In fact, I put one on each hand just for max fashion. These runs tend to have a tradition of me doing woeful damage to the Asylum Demon in New Game Plus, so let's see if that continues. I mean, okay, yeah, it's not great, but we are seeing yellow, so that's something. I actually went with strong attacks here with a combo of 2 of them getting over 100 damage. Hell, even with 4 light attacks, we can get over 100, which is pretty feasible to do given our fast attack speed. We continued our demoniacal assault until we finish him off, and we come out a winner in the fist encounter of this cycle. We progress through the asylum and punch our ticket out of here. We arrive at File and try and take the usual route beneath Andre, although this time the crystal visit does actually got some large titanite. Andre gets our case 2s upgraded to +5, and this time I buy the rest of Cartorius right away. We're actually going to go into this area of Darkly Garden and then for Central Covenant West. This unlocks Shiva of the East, who, after we speak to him here, moves to Blighttown in one of the more awkward merchant placements of the game. From here, we can buy our next gauntlet-type weapon, the Claw. By the way, did anyone else actually think this weapon type was called Fist, not Gauntlet? I only learned that on this very run, and even on the wiki they're called Fist weapons. Not like the wiki is a bastion of accurate information anyway, but still. So, the Claw is perhaps the best of this weapon type because it has a slightly longer reach and also has bleed, which is invaluable for certain bosses as we saw last cycle. We'll be using this for most of this run. There's not that many options anyway. We get the Claw upgraded to +5 and test it out against this Border Knight. Damage is pretty low, but attacks are fast, so it somewhat compensates. I say somewhat, because I suspect there's absolutely no way I'll be able to kill the first Bell Gargoyle before the second one spawns. And I was right. Also, I did get 2-shot by the Gargs now. Probably shouldn't have stopped leveling up Vitality during the last cycle. Remember the advice about how having high health when you have low damage is a good idea? Well, I should have followed that. Oh well. Our damage is considerably lower than with the shield, but we can still get bleed, so that's something. I really just need to take out one of the Gargs, then I'll be a Bell to win. But finding openings where I'm not going to be punished by an insta-death flame breath isn't always the easiest. If you get one of those rare times where they both breathe fire, you're in business, and with just one Goyle remaining, he gargles on my Bell and dies shortly after. With the first Bell run, we can... Oh my god! Wait, where did you go? Oh... Well, never mind. We get the bridge shortcut unlocked, and then use my shoe fist technique to loud trek this guy to get the fatty fat ring back. Now, in fairness, I could have made the gargoyle fight easier by coming down to Lower Berg first and beating the Capra to go get the large ember, but I like varying things up between cycles, even if it brings me more pain. So let me give you a quick recap of this fight. Luckily, the Claw was fast enough to handle the dogs and can take them out in 3 hits. The damage per hit to Capra is pretty shocking. Worth noting, you can't 2-hand gauntlet weapons in this game for more damage. So we're relying on bleed, and also the fact that enough hits can still get us a stagger, both of which we can achieve by getting Capra to fall down from the ledge, leaving us with a nice big opening to lay the slashes in. I also discovered the rolling attack with the Claw, which is a bit weird because you actually do another roll before doing the attack. Not sure why the second roll is necessary, but anyhow, Capra is defeated. We get our prize from the depths and upgrade our Claw to +7 with the large titanite the Crystal Lizard gave us earlier. Next, the Meat Cleaver Maiden shows us her mad dance skills. We kindle the bonfire and channel our anger in a positive direction. Remember how in the last cycle I said I never got a bleed on the Gaping Dragon? Well, here I'm using an even faster bleed weapon and hit it a huge amount of times, and again, no bleed. I did manage to cut the tail though after a huge amount of hits, so cool, I guess. There were some teething issues using these weapons, but I think I've moved past that, and we efficiently slash up this dragon. He was living hand to mouth by the end of this one. I have great vitality now, as we know how important that's going to be here. I decided I would take a conventional route to Blighttown. This route sucks. I usually always go via Valley of Drakes just because it's much less aggro, but this time there's a very important item here. The Whiff, our starter weapon for the next cycle. We mission down to the bonfire, and now it's time for Quayline. I'm once again convinced that the wikis are lying about her being vulnerable to bleed. Just look at all those hits. Also, in all the times I've fought her, I've never seen this attack before. That's what you call spicy twerking. Crazy how you can still see new things in these games after all this time. Well, no sign of any yellow damage in her health bar this fight. I think she must have gotten pretty aggravated having me stuck in her side slashing away for 8 minutes. We slash, slash, and slash some more until we defeat her and get the second bell run. While we're here, we also defeat Ceaseless Fist Charge with our disc weapon. Before moving to the now open Fortress of Fun, I took a little expedition to take on the Stray Leota. He's a good fella to be sure, but we still got to bleed him out. It's actually insane how effective bleed is here. We get another Titanite slab and the doll for beating him. for this fortress to make its ascent known once again, though I find it hard to increase scent, an area with so many useful upgrade materials. You might be wondering why I don't just stock up on all the relevant Titanites before moving from one cycle to the next. Well, it's because I like to make things harder for myself for no reason. So, after getting the Ring of Steel protection and upgrading the claws to plus 10, the Iron Golem sends me on my way. Though our damage is obviously absolute trash, of course this guy cannot be bled. But my question is, can we topple him? I put the Grass Crest shield in my other hand here to improve stamina recovery and went to work. I thought if there was any way we might manage, it would require me getting my stamina back as quickly as possible. To my surprise, it actually was possible. Jamie was in the wrong position, but luckily I did manage to repeat it, and even though he was kind of close to death anyway, so this was unnecessary, we managed to get the topple with our low damage weapon, and he falls off and dies. I feel like I've achieved something here, always working towards those golems. We then fly, walk, jump, run, Ian, and bait until we make it to Ornsmo and Steam. Compared to what we were just seeing against Iron Golem, the damage against Smo is actually pretty damn good. Plus he bleeds pretty easily, so we can easily drain the health off this smoother stuffed turkey. But then we hit Super Ornstein, and we go back to the kind of damage I was expecting. Saying that, in some ways Super Ornstein is easier than Super Smo. Firstly, if you stay in his legs, there's only 3 moves he can do, all of which can be avoided pretty easily, especially if the shockwave from the butt slam has a much smaller range than when Super Smo does it. You can still get caught by his attacks if you're not careful, but thanks to some frequent slashes, lead, and good dodges, we end this fight and move yonder. Win of it is ball acquired, and I actually get hold of another gauntlet weapon by using the Iron Golem Soul to make a case loose into the Dragon Bone Fist. So full disclosure here, I intended to use this weapon a lot more in the run, but I foolishly assumed it was upgraded with Demon Titanite before realizing it actually needs Dragon Scales, which I absolutely was not missioning down to Ashley to grab, so that kind of killed my interest in using it. I also, for the first time here, decided to test out the case loose parry, and it feels pretty good. Despite actually still having the document stay on screen from the last cycle, I committed to the bit and used my throwing knife-shaped gauntlet weapon to kill Gwynevere. Gwynevere was not very impressed by this. He thought his magic would spell my defeat, but after a lot of running, I clawed up to him and slashed him to death quickly. We also made very quick work of Slash-Breed Priscilla as we painted this world with her blood. I'm probably going to hell for that, but I doubt you expected anything less at this point. Right, well I think for this second part of this cycle, it makes sense to get the claw upgraded as much as we can. So I run down to New Mondo, get the key, and drain the water as per usual, and get the very large Andre. We do lack some Titanite chunks though, but thankfully we can farm some. Can we just talk about how OP parrying and backstabbing is in this game? I mean, okay, parrying does require some skill to do it consistently, but backstabbing is crazy. Any backstabbable enemy can just be chain backstabbed just by walking into the right spot. Not that I'm complaining anyway, we get the claw up to plus 15. I want to get the 4 kings out of the way, but I know it's going to kind of suck, so I run back to Undead Berg and grab the gold pile resin here. I head down to Dark Root for Sif, but of course stop by to say hi and bye to this winged fly. Our claws cut through it like a knife through butterfly, although it does take 3 cycles to kill. But totally worth it to get that divine Andre at the top of the tower. Of course, we handle Sif as well while we're in the area. This is a lot more fun than the Moonlight Butterfly, a showdown in close quarters. The bleed is really invaluable here, helping to chunk down Sif's health bar after every few slashes. We still have to see the limping though, as we can't take it down that quickly, but thankfully it's short-lived as we finish them off again. I also grabbed the Hornet Ring this time, as that's going to come in useful later. But first, let's level Dex a bit more and get this slog of a fight out of the way. The 4 kings can't be bled, so unfortunately that's not an option. I used the gold climb resin I picked up earlier for this one, just to try and boost our damage a bit more. This honestly wasn't as bad as I was thinking. Even though our damage is not the best, obviously, the speed of our attacks does compensate to a degree. We still get stung by explosions and grabs, so there's no chance we kill 1 king before another spawns. But, thanks to some choice healing times and a couple of actually good fat roll dodges for me, we managed to chunk down the final one, turning the 4 kings into the Claw Kings. We once again absolutely blanked Cramp, so Carp is here to help us ride the throat boats to the violent altar. We place the smooth bowl to simmer, and then head to fight this smooth brain lizard. Then again, maybe I'm the smooth brain, as I could not seem to hit the last head for the life of me. You know, I'm actually down to see an improved version of fighting a Hydra in one of the future games. This has potential to be a cool encounter, but this one is just ruined by the jankiness and the DLC early on this run. We killed the gold golem and the blue golem in the Duke's archives for the broken pendant, thus fulfilling all the requirements to enter the DLC. With our speedy claw, Ian the Sanctuary Guard went a lot smoother than last time. Ignore that. Ignore that also. Quick, fast forward to the part where I slash him. Phew, there we go. Nearly looked bad in front of the audience there. Damage is good, lead is good, Ian is not so good and had to be taken to the hospital after we filmed this scene. We found the jokes a bit romantic corny.
Reese's and Hershey's Zero Sugar. So delicious. We'll check the label twice.
If nature can make a lake pink, then natural toothpaste can whiten your teeth. Never underestimate nature. There.
I'm not exaggerating when I say that when I used to buy products like this, it was a mess. I get completely lost. Whereas now with Opera Browser, I have like 50 tabs open and you just can't help. Link below to download it for free.
Compared to Ian, I was a bit worried about Artorias. First, he can't be bled and he has pretty good defenses, meaning that we're stuck with low damage. Second, I was concerned the claw would not be able to knock him out with a buff animation. Now it turns out that it can, but we need to hit him 5 times to do it, which there is just barely enough time to do. I spent most of the fight just strafing, dodging, and taking pot shots, but the intensity suddenly ramped up 7 minutes into the attempt, where he threw me off by starting to buff without doing the user's back roll that precedes it. And unfortunately, I was not able to get to him in time, getting blasted by the AoE and left on low health. I also had no Estus left at this point, so I had to pop a humanity to heal. This was probably one of the luckiest things that happened to me on the whole run, as he decided to do the spin attack while out of reach of me, leaving me time to munch the humanity and heal. If he had done almost any other attack, I would have died. But disaster struck again a few seconds later, as I mistimed a dodge, getting caught by a horizontal swing and making the foolish mistake of thinking there was time to attack. I got hit by his overhead swing. I had a fraction of health remaining somehow. Thankfully, he then did the jump, again one of the few attacks with a window big enough for me to heal again. His buff finally wore off a few seconds later, leaving me in a better position at last. The final few moments were an intense back and forth as I slowly chipped away at our glorious health with our tour until he finally fell. That was a sweaty one. As we proceed for our usual super fun time in Ullasil Township, guess what I found? Another vagrant. Seeing 2 in one run is really something. Sadly, it only dropped to humanity, but at least I got to kill it this time. After taking on Manus first last time, I opted to have a meeting with the resident Zekrom in the area using Postmon's golf. Even by my standards, that was pretty terrible. Half the people watching aren't going to get. So, all important question here. Was our much faster bleed weapon and Alan he fled this time? Actually, yes. So it still requires a lot of hits in a row. I found the best window is when he stands up on his hind legs to shoot fire. Starts slashing at the base of his tail, and then moves to the right to touch his legs as he sits down, and his tail moves to the roof. With this, I was actually able to align enough flashes in quick succession to get a bleed early in the fight. Sadly, I didn't manage to repeat this until right near the end, but regardless, it still helps us move things along as we slashed down and defeated the Black Dragon of this game. With that done, it was time to take on Manus in hand-to-hand combat. Unlike Calamite, he can't be bled at all, but his damage resistances are a little less, so that's something. I actually managed to survive the multi-hit combo, which was pretty shocking. I guess that health investment really did come in handy. It was a battle of survival more than anything else, honestly. The fight went on for about 10 minutes, and annoyingly sometimes our slashes actually missed because of our short range and the awkward position of his legs. I actually switched to some heavy attacks towards the end just to try and speed things up a little. Eventually Manus gets smoked, which changes his name to Father of the Cannabis. Also, can you believe Dusk doesn't die in one claw swipe? Engine plus power creases rule. DLC is done though, and now let's just clear up the scrubs left in the base game. I opted to use gold time resin to scale the Cephалus, not because he was particularly worrying, more so I just wanted to bring him down quickly with a Cephalus assault. This reduced the height to about 90 seconds, and another Lord Soul is ours. For our next little expedition, I made the case was divine and upgraded it to +5. What's the betting again? Not gonna suck. But at least we need not worry about that just yet. Pinwheel is blocking our way. Let's be real, we didn't have a necro chance in hell here. Our pin-steer movement with our claws pulled out the victory. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a Dragon Bone fist on my left hand, yeah, I've got no idea to be honest. I think I was drunk at this point. Anyway, The damage against the skeletons from the Divine Tasteless was trash, but it at least attacks a lot faster than the shield did and staggers the skeletons with each hit, so it was totally possible to take them out now. Because I was determined to use the Dragon Bow Fist for at least a little of the run, I stuck it on and gave Nito a few bone uppercuts for a bit of bone-on-bone action, but yeah, obviously it's not upgraded enough for the damage to be anywhere near worth the time spent. We roll up Nito into a Defeato Dorito and claim another Lord Soul. Strength and Dex are now both at 40 in case you were curious what our stats are. As we've already killed Cece, we can comfortably head down into the Demon Ruins and take out this Centipede. Not to be confused with Centipede Demon, of course. That comes later. Let's get this cycle finished up anyway, rapid fire style. First, we execute a Kurt Hammer on this invader. We offer some sage advice to this demon. Wear some bleed resistance armor, Jesus, man. Centipede Demon bugs out as we cut the legs right out from under him. A bed of chaos spooks me into a pit of despair by finding a new way to give me a frustrating death, even after all these years. Oh, damn stupid one! Time to take out our anger by continuing the tradition of this run. So we take a quick detourist, and with a flaming claw, Taurus Demon gets absolutely shredded. Almost the kill of the first flame, and you know the case you can parry, right? So yeah, easy bit. You don't avoid the parry. God! We take his throne and let him know that winter is coming by taking the dark ending this time round. So at last, cycle 3, whips only. We start off with just our basic weapon. Personally, I think this is the worst of the 3 weapon types we're using here for a few reasons we'll get into. So first, the positives. Damage is actually a bit better starting out than the previous 2 cycles, so that's something at least, and the range is clearly better than either of the previous 2 weapons. Give the Asylum Demon a double serving of cool kick, which doesn't react well with his sensitive tummy, and he dies shortly after. I'll get on to the drawbacks of this weapon shortly. Oscar gets a whippity whip it, and we touch down in filing and run to Andre to get this thing upgraded to +5, unlocking the bridge shortcut and buying the box we need for upgrading at the bonfire. The downsides of the whip compared to the other 2 weapons, well, we can't get a complete variant of this weapon until much later in the game, for one, compared to the other 2. So although the damage seems decent now, it will drop off as we go forward more so than the other 2 weapons. But we're going to prepare for that a little by letting Briggs out. We grab his gear in the nearby barrel, and then run all the way back to filing and buy magic weapons.
I'm waiting for the bus.
Staff, on the other hand,
You're
we now
not
have 5 bucks
supposed to be here.
to boost our damage sum.
You died a long time ago.
Some more points into intelligence, as I bet the initial buff is going to be great.
Mom, look out! Mom!
So more downsides to the whip. Well, as well as slower attacks, we can't riposte and plunge attack, which, to be fair, we couldn't do with the shield either, but at least with that we could block to mitigate damage. Anyway, I thankfully managed to dispatch the dogs, and then decide to go naked for the rest of the fight. With magic weapon buffing our whip, we get a grand total of 74 damage. Charcoal pine resin is 67, so 7 points less. If you're wondering about no buff, it's 57, so magic weapon gets us 70 whole points more damage. Wow.
Where am I?
It's practically beating the fight for me. I mean, this fight was fine, but way more time consuming than it should have been, really. I think this is going to get worse before it gets better, though. So it's a mad dash to get the large Andre, and then I take the shortcut back out of the depths. I wanted to get to Anno Londo ASAP now to get a better whip, so I took the Drake route to Blighttown, getting some large Titanite that somebody left lying around. Ready for another long fight? Look at that damage against Twilight. While fighting her here, I spied her charging up the explosion attack. I thought I was at a safe distance, but apparently not. It's also now a one-shot, so that's cool. Fantastic. By this point in New Game Plus Plus, she has a lot of health, and I was now terrified of getting caught by the explosion as that attempt I just died in had been going on for 9 minutes when that happened. I was hyper aware of it, more so than any other attack. I tried to ask you to help